Don't put this guy behind me.
We'll put you out in front of him.
Put him in front of me. This is a lose-lose situation for me because either he like takes off, I never see him again, even though he's got 200 less horsepower, or you put him behind me, he catches me in my 700 horsepower car. Hi, I'm Jake with Carbus, and we're out here at Pit Race in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania with the Cadillac CT4-V Blackwing and Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. These are the latest and greatest from Cadillac, and the first things first, to tell them apart, this is the CT4-V, and you can tell by the headlight that connects all the way down. When you look at this one, you can see the headlight breaks with the fog light there. It's because the CT5-V needs a little more air, and that's what that's for. So let's take a closer look. All right, starting with the CT5-V Blackwing, it has a 6.2-liter supercharged V8 LT4, just like in the Corvette, makes 668 horsepower in this application, and that's put down to the ground through a 6-speed manual transmission. That costs $85,000, thereabouts. The automatic transmission, the 10-speed that GM and Ford worked on together, is also available for an extra couple grand, and this thing maxes out at $125,000. Got Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires on both ends, 305s in the back, 275s in front. And let me tell you, on the track, it sticks like glue. All right, moving to the CT4-V Blackwing. This one comes with a twin turbocharged V6, making 472 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. Same engine as the ATS-V, but enhanced for this new model. This one also comes with a 6-speed manual or a 10-speed automatic transmission. Starts at 60,000 and goes up to about 85, which is where the CT5 starts. Now, a lot of the stuff you see here, Cadillac learned from the racetrack. The performance traction management system, where it has 5 levels of traction management, the aero and the cooling all came from its DPI cars. That's why they feel so darn racy. So out here in the back of the CT4 and the CT5, you see a couple more changes. The taillights are a little bit different. This one gets a slightly different carbon fiber lip with a little run to it. This one's straight across the back. Obviously carbon fiber down low and quad exhaust tips all around. They both come with GM's magnetic ride control 4, which controls your pitch and your yaw and your roll and all that stuff, and it's integrated into the traction control system, and it works faster than ever before. What we found on the road is that it's stiff enough to be fun to drive, but doesn't crash over big potholes and bumps. So that's a bonus, and it puts it ahead of a lot of its German competitors. All right, so now we're in front here in the CT5. And as you can see, we have our 6-speed manual transmission with this cool 3D printed medallion on top of the gear selector. Your drive modes are below, along with your rev match button, which is an important one. That automatically matches your downshifts, which is nice to not have to do by yourself. Got this infotainment screen in the center here. It does look a little canted towards the sky, which makes us a little nervous. So far, the sun hasn't blocked it out, but we would be a little bit nervous about that. Standard stuff here with your home screen. You can slide through like that. Your audio, your phone, your nav, right? Apple CarPlay, wireless, obviously. And your apps and Spotify and your performance data reporter. This is a cool one. You have to put in your chip, and then it will record your laps right out of the front bumper for you, and it'll do your lap times if the track is set in the infotainment system. But that's just the infotainment. The cool part here is the drive modes. Now I'm going to switch through them here. So we got Tour, Sport, Track, Snow and Ice, My Mode, and then this button right here does V Mode, which basically just sets everything to max. We do like My Mode the best because you can set it to whatever, for the steering, suspension, engine, shift brake, you can set that to whatever you want for My Mode. Let's bring it back up again. Right, so this is back to normal mode. Everything's in base, engines in 2 of 4. And then we have this right here, this little dial, which is your performance traction management. This overrides the drive modes and has wet, dry, sport, race 1, and race 2, along with ESC off if you're really brave. And that takes precedence over the drive mode, puts everything in track, and then this controls your traction management. Race 1 lets you slide a little bit, but keeps the stability control on. Race 2, it lets you slide even more, but still will save you if you start to come all the way around. ESC off is the one that won't save you at all. So this one with the manual has this dial here to control the infotainment. The ones with the automatic have a rotary dial like the Escalade and the other Cadillacs. So we do like the rotary dial better than this little guy here, but we love the manual transmission. All right, so now we're out here on the road in the CT5-V Blackwing. That's the 668 horsepower one, which is pretty amazing. It's amazing that it has a 6-speed manual transmission too. And the first thing I noticed getting in was the weight of the clutch. It's harder to push than your average Honda Civic or Hyundai Elantra. Takes a little effort, and the catch point is about 3/4 of the way up. I kind of like them either really towards the bottom or really towards the top. Either way, it helps you shift faster. We were also very impressed with the steering feel of this, even in the normal mode, although we're going to move it to sport mode now. The steering has some weight to it. It has some feel and some kickback, which is what you want in a car when you're not a professional race car driver. Professional drivers can just tell what a car is doing by their G-meter and their guts, but for an amateur, it helps to be able to feel what the car is doing through the steering wheel. And this one is extremely communicative, and we talked to some of the engineers who said that that was the plan. They said a lot of people, especially with luxury cars, even with the sport versions, want to tune out all the road feel, and Cadillac was trying to tune in the road feel. And we are happy for it. Okay, so let's hear this baby go. So it sounds lovely, the same as a Corvette, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, we're not actually sure. But what we found on the expressway in this thing is that it has so much power and torque that even in 6th gear, you can just give it some gas and just start passing people. You don't even have to shift out of 6th gear, which is kind of nice when you're going for a road trip. We only drove the manual CT5-V on the road. We drove the automatic on the track, but we do love that 10-speed. The shifts are extremely quick, dual clutch quick, and they're softer when you're coming up to a stop or rolling away from a stop, which is always the problem with the dual clutch. The Magnetic Ride 4.0 suspension, the 4th generation, controls everything and is integrated into the performance traction management and all that, like we said. And it does a fantastic job, even with these 19-inch wheels, of making it feel tight and controlled on the road, but doesn't get super loud over bumps. You know, a lot of the cars, they put these huge wheels on them, but then they put a bunch of suspension give, so you don't actually feel the blow in the cabin, but you hear it, and it's annoying. Speaking of sound, the sound you hear from this engine is partially piped in, partially from the engine, partially piped in. And we used to have a problem with that, but you know, if you're in the car and you hear it and it sounds good, does it matter how fake it is? You know, that's the question. Does it really matter? We posit that it doesn't, because it's just as enjoyable when you're at full tilt in this thing as it would be if the exhaust was routed directly through the cabin. So as far as the controls, you know, the infotainment, everything is really easy to reach. Like I said, this is the manual, so the rotary dial is right next to the screen by the volume knob. On the automatic cars, you have a big rotary dial down by the center here. But easy to reach, easy to control, and once you get used to this one knob kind of thing and then push to go forward, it's pretty easy. I'm also looking at a head-up display right in front of me with my tach and my speed in it, which is always nice, especially in a manual transmission car. And finally, one of our favorite things is the adjustable brakes. A few car makers are doing this, where you can adjust the brake feel, and personally to me, that's the most important thing, definitely on a track, but also on the road. I want confident brakes, more than power, more than handling, more than tire. I want really strong brakes, and this thing has 3 or 4 levels to adjust through, and on the track they felt spectacular. Zero fade. We didn't do a ton of laps in a row, but zero fade from the brakes, and I only broke too much. I never got scared and had to brake more at the end of a corner. All right, so that's a quick look at the CT5-V Blackwing. Let's get back to the track and wrap it up. All right, so there's a quick look at the Cadillac CT4-V Blackwing and the Cadillac CT5-V Blackwing. It sounds like one just passed by us right there. They are very comfortable on the road, exceptional on the track, and with all those different modes, you can find a custom mode that you'll like the best and will make you the fastest. They're on sale now. If you're looking at a 3 Series or a 5 Series, check these out too. I'm Jake Lingeman for Car Buzz.